What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could not fail, what one thing would you set as a goal for yourself? Because sometimes answering that question will tell you the one thing that you've been put on this earth to accomplish.
That if you want to be a confident person, you have to take action. Confidence is a result of doing something. And so many times people cheat themselves because they lack that confidence, so they don't do what they should do, only to leave saying, I wish I would have done that.
And I think the ability to abstain from doing the easy, pleasurable thing that's right in front of you and picture a life that you can dream of, asking yourself if a better version of yourself exists, what that version of yourself is, picturing the plan to get there, and actually starting and executing on that plan, I think is such a rare thing right now, and so hard for people to stop and even think about, given how much constant distraction there is in their life. And that's what made me want to ask this kid. I was like, do you believe a better version of yourself exists?
There's a big difference between 99% and 100. I always thought that I was given 100%. I wasn't. But I was only 1% from making that money, from being where I want to be, from having everything in life that I've ever dreamed of. But it's that 1% that we sleep on. It's that 1% that we wake up in that morning and we're like, you know what? Not today, maybe tomorrow. Well, guess what? That's why it's so easy to be great nowadays, because most of us are weak.
What have you got to lose?
Exactly. And that was it. And it was like, I have nothing to lose. And that was when I think in the last podcast we talked about this, where it's like, if everybody who's like at the bottom and feels like they have nothing going for them, reframe that as, I have nothing going for me, which also means that I have nothing to lose by taking action, it makes you a much more dangerous person.
That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. Just say that every day to yourself, it's possible. Because what does that do? See, it begins to change your belief system. See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, it's a manifestation of what we believe, what's possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life.
What was I doing with my confidence? I was making a determination to take action on something that I didn't feel comfortable with. And trust me, I did. I never broke that promise to myself, and today I can look back at many times where I just went ahead and did it. I didn't feel comfortable, but I went ahead and did it. And each time I took action, it began to give me confidence.
But someone being able to ask you, what do you want with your life? Do you believe a better version of yourself exists? And take responsibility to take that in action. And the reason that question to ask yourself is, do you believe a better version of yourself exists? Is because if you say yes, you are admitting that you have faith.
The fear that people have when they're starting out is that they say things like, I have nothing going for me. I have no advantages. I have nothing to my name. I have no money. I have no network. I have no resources. But using Rory Sutherland's reframing, it also means that you have nothing to lose, which makes you incredibly dangerous. And I think people wildly underestimate how many shots on goal you can take when you have nothing to lose. Whereas when someone has something to lose, they have to be more and more selective about the shots they take. And so you have the perfect conditions for taking risk, because the worst case scenario is baseline, is where you're currently at. A lot of people wait for perfect conditions to start, but don't realize that starting is the perfect condition.
And I suddenly realized that I was responsible, is that I was in charge of my own life, that no one was coming to the rescue. The biggest mistake you can ever make is to ever think you work for anyone else but yourself. In fact, the ability to set goals and to create plans for their accomplishment is the master skill of success. If all you learned in life, all you learned in school, was the ability to be a continuous goal setter and a continuous planner, day and night, planning, organizing, planning, writing, thinking about what you're trying to accomplish, you'll accomplish more in a year or 2 years than most people accomplish in 10 years or an entire lifetime. Our natural tendency is to sell ourselves short. Our natural tendency is to think of the reasons why we can't before we think of the reasons why we can. So the key to breaking ourselves out of the comfort zone and breaking ourselves loose of the shackle of helplessness is courage and confidence. We neutralize the antidote to fear and ignorance is desire and knowledge. And the more we learn about what we want to do and be and have, the more we believe that we can do it. The more we believe that we can do it, the more willing we are to try. And the more willing we are to try, the more likely it is we will succeed. What is the first part of triumph? The first part of triumph is to try.
You need to have faith a better version of yourself exists. You need to take responsibility for your own life into your own hands. Most likely you're not going to have a role model following you, telling you what to do, asking you these hard questions and pushing you in the right direction. You need to be the one to do that.
Take the biggest fucking risks of your entire life right now. Remember, you have time. And in your 20s, you can get so scared and you can be so easily lulled into the idea that good is good enough, that feeling safe and comfortable is what you should always be looking for. That way of thinking in your 20s in particular, dead fucking wrong. I want you to start to create this mindset of taking risks and going big.
Lives. It's not your conditions, it's your decisions that determine the quality of your life. I had pretty rough conditions growing up, to say the least, but I turned those into good conditions because of a mindset, because of certain psychology, because of certain decisions. It's been decisions along the way. So if you look at your own life, yours, mine, anyone's life, anyone listening or watching, you have to be honest and say, I'm a creator. And if I don't like what I have, I've gotten here by the decisions that have created that.
I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you. You have something special. You've got greatness in you, but you've got to be hungry. What do you mean by that? People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. They're willing to study. They're willing to challenge themselves. They're willing to go outside of their comfort zone. Why is that important? Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. You've got to die to who you are now to give birth to who you were chosen out of 400 million sperm to become.
The first of all, starting point of great accomplishment is to dream big dreams. Number one, dream big dreams. Let your mind float free. All really exceptional men and women dream big dreams. They allow their minds to float. They think of what they could be and what they could do and what they really, really want. Here's an exercise for you. Take a piece of paper later on and write at the top, dream list, and then make a list of all your dreams. If you're married, sit down with your spouse and say, honey, let's make a list of everything we'd like to be, do, or have in the rest of our lives. But what about this and what about that? No, decide what's right before you decide what's possible.
I started to say, what if I can pull this off? When I first walked into the Navy SEAL recruiter's office, he looked at me and said, there's only been 35 African Americans in 70 years make it through. You know what I said to myself? What if I can be the 36th? It's the what if I can pull off a fucking miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be? And just me talking about that, I have the hair going up on my arms because it makes me just like, what if?
Because your life doesn't change someday. It changes the day that you just start.
I say chase your dreams, man. Do that thing, man, that keeps you up at night. That thing that bothers you, man, that makes you trip. You can't quit thinking about it. You always, that thing, man, that you wake up in the middle of the night, you got a new idea. That's what you got to chase. Because anything else, it's gonna disappoint you.
And my personal question to you is, why not you? You've got the brains, you can make decisions, you can study the plan, you can change your life, you can grow immensely in the next few years, you can make your dreams come true, you can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through, you can become healthy, you can become powerful. Why not you?
The greatest of all qualities to guarantee success is the absolute willingness to go at anything and refuse to stop until you achieve it. And you know something? The statistics show that 95% of the goals that you set for yourself, you will achieve if you refuse to quit. So the starting point is just to simply say, I am unstoppable. Say it. Say, I am unstoppable.
I am unstoppable.
Now say it like you mean it. Get your thumbs out of your mouths and say it like you mean it. Say, I am unstoppable.
I am unstoppable.
Once more, I am unstoppable.
I am unstoppable.
Yes, so now from now on, whenever you see a barrier or wall or you think of anything you want to do or be, you say, wait a minute here. I'm unstoppable. Nothing stops me.
The moment you take action, your life will change. The moment you take action, clarity replaces confusion. The moment you take action, momentum begins. The moment you take action, the right time finally arrives. The moment you take action, you stop waiting for permission.
But risk must be taken, for the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, has nothing, does nothing, is nothing.
I realized that I wasn't keeping promises to myself.
Right.
That if I said I was going to wake up at a certain time, the snooze button would be hit 3 times.
Right.
You know, you are constructed by the tiny decisions that you make every single day. And even if you think that nobody else is watching, and even if no one is, there's this little ticker in the back of your mind.
Every morning when you get up, say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. I do it now, do it now. Whenever you have this tendency to procrastinate, program your subconscious mind with this automatic conditioned command, do it now, do it now, do it now. The key to overcoming procrastination is to develop a sense of urgency. Be the kind of person who gets things done quickly.
Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And he taught me 3 things. He said, if you want to become successful in life, young man, he said, number 1, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are.
The distance that we can shrink between wanting to do something or thinking something should be done and it being done is a direct indication of our personal power in our lives. And so that has helped me basically think, don't be a powerless bitch. Just shrink the gap.
Because you can beat 99% of people without being smarter or luckier, but by being willing to endure pain and uncertainty for longer. It's hard for you, it's hard for everyone else. And most people avoid hard things, which is why you can beat most people by just trying and continuing to try. And the main thing is that I think most people don't even know what trying feels like.
And I would rather fall short of a big goal and consider myself a failure than lower the goals to the level which I can accomplish all of them just so I can feel like I'm a success. And it's less about the goal setting, and it's more about the mindset of being okay being the failure. Because what it does is it frees you to imagine bigger, take risks like you never imagined you could before, because failure is not the thing you're afraid of.
Stop waiting. Time won't invite you. You have to show up anyway. We've been taught to wait for the right time, to wait until we're more qualified, until we have more money, more confidence, more clarity, until the fear goes away, until we're ready, until someone gives us permission, until the timing makes sense. But here's the reality. The right time doesn't show up. You do. The timing won't feel perfect because you're not supposed to feel certain before you grow.
Getting better is a campaign. It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight. An incessant fight that doesn't stop against weakness and against temptation and against laziness. It's a campaign of discipline. It's a campaign of hard work and dedication. It's waking up early and going to bed late and grinding out every second in between. Every single day.
And then you start realizing that you can do the thing even though you don't feel good about it. And you start hypertrophying it. But I think the ultimate version of the hypertrophy, when the muscle becomes a tendon or it just becomes fused, is when you don't even consider how you feel. It's just not a thought. You just do it.
You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough. In life, it's never enough until you feel this overwhelming feeling of shit, man. I'm outworking the crowd. I'm outworking everybody. I'm doing more. It's not until then, once you get there, that's when you fucking know you've done enough. Stay hard.
When you expect to feel like you always want to go to the gym or always want to do your taxes or always want to do whatever it is you think is important, you have made a grand illusion. And just think, there's no one coming to save you except Mr. Goggins, who's going to punch you square in your face and tell you shut up and do the thing.
It doesn't matter if a nuclear bomb went off, but all you see is a straight line, completely undisturbed by the things that are going around them. Because you can beat 99% of people without being smarter or luckier, but by being willing to endure pain and uncertainty for longer. It's hard for you, it's hard for everyone else. And most people avoid hard things, which is why you can beat most people by just trying and continuing to try. And the main thing is that I think most people don't even know what trying feels like.
You have the power to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. Don't underestimate yourself. You don't know enough about yourself to become a cynic. And so you've got to challenge yourself to access that power that you have within you. You're more than a conqueror.
You're always afraid to take the first step because all you see is every negative thing 10 miles down the road. But you can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing. What are you passionate about? What do you want? I mean, there are guys who work their entire life laying bricks so their kids have a chance at the opportunities you have here.
You don't have to feel good about it. You just have to keep going. The feeling will pass, but you will remain. You are greater than your feelings. Going to bed late and waking up early to work for a few days won't kill you. You're not going to burn out. You're doing what it takes. If you're one of those people that push work-life balance, just remember, the people who like working a lot don't care. I've never regretted trying harder at anything ever. Hard times last long, but an epic story feels like a lifetime.
It's not over until I win. Got that right. It's not over till I win. Not over till I get through. It's not over till I get over. Not over till I get what I want. Door can't open today, look out. I'm gonna come back and take the hinges off. That's how you gotta do that. You've got to have that kind of courage, that type of determination.
Just do. You're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to fucking be remembered? That's it. That's it.
Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use.
Struggle doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It usually means you're on a real one, right? Struggle doesn't mean you're making a mistake. Struggle could mean that you have a lot to learn to get to this goal. Pain isn't proof of misalignment. It's proof you're growing. It's proof it matters.
If you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There is no way around it. You have to jump. Every successful person has jumped. You got to jump. You got to take a leap of faith. You got to dash off that cliff and you got to jump out there as far as you can.
Anything in life that you put your mind to, you can do. The world is your oyster. That's all I tell people. And I really have a grasp of that being that I nearly died. It's this and it's heaven. While you're on earth, especially if you're not incarcerated, if you got to take advantage of this. And that doesn't mean for everybody to be a rapper, for everybody to be a producer. Do what you do to the fullest and live your life and just be happy.
And I sat there and said, this is my life. I said, this is my life. You are exactly who the fuck, this is it. And I said, this ain't gonna be it for me. So in that restaurant, I quit my job, left my canister in that restaurant, my spray canister, got back in my Ecolab truck, and I went home. And I started working out like somebody, I became the most obsessed person on the planet Earth.
And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just gonna live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it.
Like, what if everybody's chasing some sort of finish line, but what if you just today just made the decision, because they're all decisions, I've already won. That's it. I'm alive. We've got one good friend. We've got one I'm sure every one of us can find something in our lives that we like. And this idea of already thinking of yourself as having won the game and the rest of life is simply, it's all after the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
It's anything you want to do after the finish line. Go have a good time. He said, what if you just decided you won already? And I was like, oh my God, everything's great.
You have to believe on some level that you can hit it. And you also have to believe even more that you will die trying. And I think that your commitment has to be to the effort that you're willing to put forth and completely divorced of the outcome. I believed that we could hit it because all the math made sense. That was a very big reminder for me this year, was that like nothing great was ever accomplished by someone who was afraid to try because of what they thought other people would think or say about them.